Premiering in 1999, HBO's The Sopranos redefined television with its gritty storytelling, complex characters, and raw, unfiltered look at the modern mafia. Over 6 groundbreaking seasons, it won multiple Emmys, leaving an indelible mark on pop culture. But beyond its success, the cast that brought this world to life has suffered heartbreaking losses over the years. Let's take a look at how 26 members of The Sopranos cast tragically passed away. Tony Sirico, as Paulie Walnuts Gualtieri. Tony Sirico, born July 29, 1942 in Brooklyn, New York, brought an irresistible mix of humor and fierce loyalty to his role as Paulie Walnuts Gualtieri in The Sopranos. At 57, he stepped into the part in 1999, delivering a performance shaped by his own lived experiences. Sirico didn't just play a tough guy, he was one. Growing up in a world of crime, he had his own run-ins with the law before discovering his calling in acting. His real-life past gave his performances an authenticity that made him a natural fit for mobster roles. But beyond the screen, his life had a different kind of depth. Though he never married or had children, he surrounded himself with family and friends who meant the world to him. Sirico passed away on July 8, 2022, at 79 from natural causes. James Gandolfini as Tony Soprano. James Gandolfini, born September 18, 1961, in Westwood, New Jersey, changed television forever when he embodied the deeply conflicted mob boss Tony Soprano at 38. His raw, layered performance in The Sopranos captured the inner turmoil of a man balancing ruthless crime with family struggles, earning him critical acclaim. Gandolfini's own upbringing, marked by a complicated relationship with his father, gave him a deep well of emotion to draw from. Before his breakthrough, he honed his craft on stage, but it was The Sopranos that cemented his place in television history. Off-screen, he had his own battles. He was married twice, first to Marcy Woodarski, with whom he had a son, Michael, and later to Deborah Lynn, with whom he had a daughter, Liliana. Despite his success, he struggled with depression, addiction, and weight issues. His sudden passing from a heart attack on June 19, 2013, while vacationing in Italy at just 51, was a heartbreaking end to a career that had left an indelible mark on the industry. Tom Aldredge as Hugh DeAngelis. Tom Aldredge, born February 28, 1928 in Dayton, Ohio, brought warmth and quiet depth to The Sopranos when he stepped into the role of Hugh DeAngelis in 2000 at age 72. With a career spanning theater and television, Aldredge had a remarkable ability to shift between humor and heartfelt emotion, making him the perfect choice to play Carmela Soprano's father. His presence on screen felt effortless, a testament to decades of experience. But while audiences knew him for his performances, his private life remained largely out of the spotlight. Married to his beloved Eleanor, Aldredge cherished his family but kept personal matters discreet. His dedication to his craft earned him admiration from colleagues and audiences alike. On July 22, 2011, he passed away at 83 from lymphoma. Suzanne Shepherd as Mary DeAngelis. Suzanne Shepherd, born October 31, 1934 in New York City, stepped into The Sopranos at 66, bringing resilience and nuance to the role of Mary DeAngelis, Carmela's no-nonsense mother. Her performance exuded authenticity, shaped by a life that had taught her perseverance. Coming from a working-class background, Shepherd faced financial hardships, but found her escape in acting. Without formal theater training, she built her career in New York's off-Broadway scene, proving that talent and determination could carve a path where opportunity was scarce. Beyond the stage, Shepherd's personal life had its own complexities. She married and had 2 children, though her marriage ultimately ended in divorce. Despite the ups and downs, she remained a force in both her career and personal life. On November 17, 2023, She passed away at 89 due to complications from COPD and kidney failure. Frank Vincent as Phil Leotardo. Frank Vincent, born April 15, 1937 in North Adams, Massachusetts, made an unforgettable impact on The Sopranos when he joined the series as Phil Leotardo in 2004 at 67. With a signature intensity, he embodied the ruthless, power-hungry mob boss who left his mark on the show's history. But Vincent's path to acting was anything but conventional. Raised in New Jersey, he faced a tough upbringing before discovering his passion for performance. Early roles in Goodfellas and Raging Bull cemented his reputation as the go-to actor for mafia roles, his sharp delivery and commanding presence making him a natural fit. Off-screen, Vincent lived a more private life. Married twice, he had one son, but rarely shared details about his family. His time in the spotlight lasted for decades, but on September 13, 2017, complications from heart surgery brought his journey to an end at 80. John Ciarcia as Albi Cianflone. John Ciarcia, born May 24, 1940 in Brooklyn, New York, brought an edge of danger and sharp wit to his role as Albi Cianflone in The Sopranos at 66. Growing up in the tough streets of New York, he learned resilience early on, a quality that would define both his life and his performances. Unlike many of his peers, he didn't take the traditional route into acting. He carved out a place for himself through sheer determination, starting with small roles before making his mark on television. But beyond his tough guy persona, Ciarcia had a life full of its own twists. He married young and had 2 children, though personal struggles and the demands of his career often overshadowed family life. Despite the challenges, he remained devoted to his craft. On November 21, 2015, he passed away at 75 from natural causes. Peter Bogdanovich as Dr. Elliot Kupferberg. Peter Bogdanovich, born July 30, 1939 in Kingston, New York, was already a celebrated filmmaker, writer, and actor when he took on the role of Dr. Elliot Kupferberg in The Sopranos at 61. Bringing intelligence and layered complexity to the character, he made the psychiatrist both perceptive and exasperating. But beyond the screen, Bogdanovich's life was marked by both artistic triumphs and deep, personal tragedy. As the director of The Last Picture Show, he cemented his place in cinema history, yet his personal life was shaken by heartbreak, most notably the tragic murder of his wife, Dorothy Stratton, in 1980. Despite his success, relationships remained complicated, and he navigated a turbulent personal journey while raising 3 children. On January 6, 2022, he passed away at 82 from natural causes. Paul Herman as Peter Beansy Gaeta. Paul Herman, born March 29, 1946 in Brooklyn, New York, had a way of making small roles unforgettable, and his turn as Peter Beansy Gaeta in The Sopranos at 54 was no exception. Playing the resilient former associate of the mob, Herman brought depth to a character who embodied loyalty and quiet strength. His career in film and television was filled with similar scene-stealing moments, including in classics like Goodfellas. But unlike the tough guys he often played, his real-life persona was far more reserved. Never married and without children, he preferred to keep his personal life out of the spotlight. On March 29, 2022, his 76th birthday, he passed away from natural causes, leaving behind a body of work that cemented his status as a beloved character actor. Greg Antonacci as Butch DeConcini. Greg Antonacci, born February 2, 1947, in Brooklyn, New York, brought a calculating menace to The Sopranos when he joined the series as Butch DeConcini in 2006 at 59. With a sharp and intense presence, he made the role of the ruthless underboss unforgettable. But Antonacci wasn't just an actor. His career spanned directing, producing, and writing, proving his versatility in the entertainment industry. Despite his success, he remained intensely private about his personal life. He was married, but beyond that, he kept the details of his family out of the spotlight. Behind the scenes, he fought a long battle with cancer, which ultimately took his life on September 20th, 2017, at age 70. Frank Pellegrino as Bureau Chief, Frank Cubitoso. Frank Pellegrino, born May 19, 1944, in East Harlem, New York, was 55 when he stepped into the role of Bureau Chief Frank Cubitoso in The Sopranos in 1999. His performance brought an air of authority and grit, embodying a tough lawman navigating the murky waters of organized crime. But Pellegrino's talents extended far beyond acting. He also thrived as a restaurateur, co-owning the iconic Rouse in New York City. His personal life, however, was not as smooth as his professional ventures. Though married with children, his relationship faced hardships that eventually led to divorce. Even as he built a name for himself in both Hollywood and the culinary world, he privately battled lung cancer, which claimed his life on January 31, 2017, at age 72. David Margulies as Neil Mink. David Margulies, born February 19, 1937, in Brooklyn, New York, stepped into The Sopranos at 63, bringing wit and understated charm to the role of Neil Mink, Tony Soprano's sharp and calculating lawyer. His ability to blend humor with gravity made him a perfect fit for the series. But long before The Sopranos, Margulies had already built a respected career in theater and film, known for roles that balanced intelligence and warmth. His personal life, however, was far more reserved. He married young, though the relationship ended in separation, and he never remarried. While he remained a beloved figure in the acting community, he quietly fought a lengthy battle with cancer, which took his life on January 11, 2016, at age 78. John Hurd as Detective Vin Makazian. John Hurd, born March 7, 1946, in Washington, D.C., brought intensity and authority to The Sopranos when he took on the role of Detective Vin Makazian in 1999 at 53. His portrayal of the troubled detective was gripping, capturing a man walking the fine line between duty and personal demons. But Hurd's journey in Hollywood went far beyond this role. Rising from the theater scene, he gained widespread fame in films like Home Alone, showcasing his ability to shift between dramatic and comedic roles. Yet, off-screen, life was far less scripted. Married and divorced twice, he faced personal struggles despite his professional success. On July 21, 2017, at 71, he passed away from a heart attack. Anthony J. Ribustello as Dante Greco. Anthony J. Ribustello, born August 6, 1966, in New York City, brought a quiet menace to The Sopranos when he stepped into the role of Dante Greco in 2004 at 38. His presence added weight to the series, portraying a no-nonsense enforcer with chilling precision. But before the cameras rolled, Ribustello's roots were firmly planted in the local New York theater scene, where he first honed his craft. His career was gaining momentum, but his private life remained just that, private. Married with children, he chose to keep the spotlight on his work rather than his personal affairs. Tragically, his rising career was cut short when he suffered a fatal heart attack on December 28, 2019, at just 53, leaving behind a legacy of untapped potential. Joe Santos as Angelo Garipe. Joe Santos, born June 9, 1931, in Brooklyn, New York, was no stranger to playing tough, world-weary characters when he took on the role of Angelo Garipe in The Sopranos in 2004 at 73. His commanding presence and seasoned acting brought authenticity to the role, a skill he had perfected over decades in Hollywood. His career stretched back to the 1950s, often portraying figures of authority with a depth that made them more than just stereotypes. But while his career thrived, his personal life was more complicated. Married twice, both unions ended in divorce, and he remained a private figure outside of the industry. On March 18, 2016, at 84, he passed away from a heart attack. Rae Allen as Quintina Blundetto. Rae Allen, born July 23, 1926, in Brooklyn, New York, was already a celebrated actress when she joined The Sopranos in 2004 at 78, bringing warmth and wit to the role of Quintina Blundetto. Her performance was effortless, a reflection of a career deeply rooted in both stage and screen. Broadway had been her first love, where she shined in productions that showcased her dynamic presence, and she later found success in films like The Commitments. But behind the applause and accolades, Allen's personal life was quieter. She married once, but the relationship ended in divorce, and she raised a daughter while dedicating herself to her craft. On April 6, 2022, at 95, she passed away from natural causes. John Costelloe as Jim Johnny Cakes Witowski. John Costelloe, born November 8, 1961, in Brooklyn, New York, brought an undeniable depth to The Sopranos when he portrayed Jim Johnny Cakes Witowski in 2006 at 45. His performance was both vibrant and heartfelt, capturing the character's warmth and quiet strength. But beyond the screen, Costelloe was a man of immense talent with a promising career. A graduate of the Yale School of Drama, he had the skills to go far in the industry. Despite his professional potential, his personal battles ran deep. Married with children, he struggled with depression, a fight he ultimately lost. On December 18, 2008, at just 47, he took his own life, leaving behind a profound sense of loss in the industry. Robert Loggia as Feech Lamanna. Robert Loggia, born January 3, 1930, in Staten Island, New York, stepped into The Sopranos in 2004 at 74, bringing a commanding presence to the role of Feech Lamanna. With his signature grit and charisma, he made the character unforgettable, adding yet another layer to his long and distinguished career. For over 6 decades, Loggia had been a Hollywood mainstay, with standout roles in films like Scarface, where he embodied raw intensity. But behind the scenes, life was not always as smooth as his performances. Married twice, he raised 3 children while facing personal hardships along the way. On December 4, 2015, at 85, he passed away from complications of Alzheimer's. Richard Romanus as Richard LaPenna. Richard Romanus, born February 8, 1943, in Barre, Vermont, added a layer of authenticity to The Sopranos in 1999 at 56, playing Richard LaPenna with a grounded and nuanced approach. His ability to bring depth to a character came from a lifetime of experience, not just in acting, but in life itself. Before pursuing Hollywood, Romanus served in the military, an experience that shaped his disciplined approach to his craft. He later made his mark in films like The Pope of Greenwich Village, where he delivered another memorable performance. But beyond the camera, his life was complex. Married with children, he battled personal demons, including addiction. On December 23, 2023, at 80, he passed away from natural causes. Tony Siragusa as Frankie Cortese. Tony Siragusa, born May 14, 1967, in Kenilworth, New Jersey, was no stranger to the spotlight when he joined The Sopranos in 2004 at 37 as Frankie Cortese. Bringing his natural charisma and larger-than-life personality, he gave the role a rugged charm that resonated with fans. But long before his acting career, Siragusa made his mark in the NFL, where he was known as a formidable defensive tackle. Off the field, his life was just as full. He married Kathy, raised children, and embraced life with humor and joy. Yet his time was tragically cut short. On June 22, 2022, at just 55, he passed away from a heart attack. Frank Albanese as Uncle Pat Blundetto. Frank Albanese, born May 16, 1931, in Brooklyn, New York, brought wisdom and quiet authority to The Sopranos in 2004 at 73 as Uncle Pat Blundetto. His portrayal carried the weight of experience, a reflection of a life spent perfecting his craft. Growing up in a tough neighborhood, Albanese understood resilience, a quality that served him well in his career, both on stage and on screen. Though he built a steady presence in television and theater, he kept his personal life largely private. Married with children, he chose to keep the focus on his work. On October 5, 2015, at 84, he passed away from natural causes. The legacy of The Sopranos lives on, but the losses of these talented actors serve as a poignant reminder of time's passing. Their performances continue to captivate audiences, keeping their memories alive. Which Sopranos character left the biggest impact on you? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.